Thanks very much. And sorry to disappoint, actually, but Cheeseworks closed a year ago. What? That's how much he actually came to the restaurant, but that's okay. He didn't remember. It's no problem. But in fact, actually, we closed Cheeseworks so that I could focus on this incredible business behind me, which is the Culinary Adventure Company. And I purchased this company in 2013, and it was originally founded in 2010. And we've now grown to be the largest food tour and culinary adventure company in Canada. So as we're sort of mixing in a conversation today, I'm a tour operator, we are an experience provider, and we're the content that hopefully you guys are brokering and satisfying and delivering digital and ultimately technology solutions for. So we'll take the pitches afterwards for sure. But the point for my presentation today is we really wanted to talk a fair bit about what is happening in the e-commerce, clever, cute, no? And how technology is changing the global food tourism business. So although I didn't hire Christian, I hired this guy. Has anyone else ever heard of him? Anthony Bourdain, yeah? Haven't actually paid him any money yet, but he's basically one of the biggest speakers for our industry. It is the Anthony Bourdain effect. It is people are traveling for food, and it is very much why our business has grown exponentially over the last few years, and why global food tourism is also growing. Close to 1/3 of all travel spending is spent on food. And so when we think about being an operator, when we think about being product and content and experience, much of that is now being driven by food. And over $150 billion is spent on the global food tourism business. And this crazy big number, and I know it's a little hard for those at the back, but that's 119,820,312, and I'm sure it's changed since we've sat here, hashtags of food porn on Instagram. People are love food, right? Do we eat here? Does anybody eat here? Yeah, okay, that group doesn't eat over in the back. But the point is that from our business, from a food tourism perspective, these are staggering numbers, and it's allowing us to travel in much different ways. If you were going to Paris, as we were just talking a moment ago on the last presentation, 15 years ago, you would make your reservations to the Louvre. You would make your plan on what museums you wanted to see, where attractions you wanted to go to, what little corners of Paris you wanted to discover. Now, you're making sure that your restaurant reservations are taken care of. You want to make sure what market is open on what day, what little baguette shop you need to go to, where to find the best macarons. How many little Instagram pics have you grabbed about some chocolate truffle? And that's what our business is about, is scaling that sort of food porn obsession. So how technology is basically connecting people is this is what's happening. And this is really sort of who our guests are. Now, our business is a little bit more focused sort of in, local and traveler. It's a bit of a mix. But the reality is that this is happening all the time. People are sharing food in communal settings and in group settings through our tours and our experiences, but people also are discovering that as well. Most of our demo, if you're looking at a bullseye, it's about a 40-year-old. They are probably got maybe a couple of young kids. They're urban focused. They want to stay relevant, so they want to go on a food tour to kind of check out the cool new spots and be sort of part of a group that's really sort of celebrating something. They may be celebrating a birthday or an anniversary or an activity, or they could be traveling as well. Currently, 70% of our guests are local. So we talk about 150 sort of mile radius, and only 30% are travelers. And one of the reasons why that's impressive for us is that we have this massive opportunity to grow not only the Toronto food scene where we are here, but the other markets that we grow, and eventually will be international as well. This past, 2 seasons ago, we've been in Toronto since 2010, and we're lucky enough to be the #1 food and drink activity in the city of Toronto, and that's a great thing for us to sort of be recognized for the great, delicious tours we do. But when I purchased the company, it was more than Toronto. We wanted to take a brand that was really delivering an incredible experience and push it. And so I'm hoping that what I'm going to be hearing tonight and sort of being inspired through technology is how do we make that grow bigger and better. Last season, we opened up Ottawa and Kingston, and this year you can find food tours and adventures in Charlottetown and Halifax. So we're now operating in 5 cities across the country, and we'll go west next year and international after that. So when we talk about our guests and how they're using technology and how they're using the online element, we spoke about it earlier as well, search is sort of the first sort of plate that we're serving for our guests. And this is inundated, and we'll speak a little bit more about it. The second is how do we sell them a food tour ticket? How do we get them involved? How do we convert them using technology and online elements to get them to purchase and to come on one of our tours? Of course, we need to serve them up an incredible experience when they're with us. And I'm actually really interested now, we were just talking about the website component a minute ago. We're in the same boat. I'm sure someone's Googling us now, and that's fine. The website's a disaster, so it's all good. It's being fixed. But it's like anybody else. It's like a renovation. As soon as you start renovating the house, you got to figure out that you got to fix every floor and every, corner, and it's forever. But we're going to be exciting to sort of how we get some new stuff out there. But how are we going to serve really more engagement for our tours, and how do we share it all as well? At the end of the day, we want to turn our guests into repeat guests. We want loyalty if they're local or if they have the opportunity to come back. If not, how do they share it for someone else to enjoy our experiences in the cities that they're visiting? So when we take a look at the search side of things, it is really a whole focus of sort of, it's an entire buffet of what you can select and where you can go. And this is just a little bit of a grab of a number of different things. You can go to Expedia or some of the large platforms like Viator and then certainly find experiences in food tours and adventures. You can do your own Google search and you can find all kinds of things. You can go to TripAdvisor. And now what's happening as well is that our folks at Airbnb, anyone in the room from Airbnb? That's good. Because otherwise I'd be grouchy right now. But they've introduced, as we all know, Airbnb experiences. So there's a few folks floating around the city of Toronto offering culinary experiences, and they're kind of disrupting what's happening, and that's okay. We'll work through it. But then you're also finding lots of people and lots of publications and media through apps and technology that is happening, and so those are making a difference. Then we get into the sale focus. Of course, you can purchase on any of these main platforms, but one of the platforms that we decided to work with is our friends at EasyTix. I know this is a bit of a big slide here, but EasyTix is actually the largest leader of ticketing for food and drink activities. Has anyone ever heard of EasyTix? No? They're in Liberty Village, proud Canadian company. We were customer number 40, now they have over 4,000 around the world. They've just opened up their South African call center to make sure that there's 24-hour coverage around the world. But what's exciting for us is that in about 4 weeks' time, we'll be integrating their new technology called EasyBooks, and it will be a very streamlined approach to the booking system for food tours. They've analyzed over 1 million tickets to really understand the insights and the transactions of the food tour business or the drink and food tour business. They're really focusing, as we need, to convert them from a shopper into a confirmed buyer. The stat here for them is that 65% of all food and drink activities on their platform are being purchased on mobile. And so we're making sure that our web and our content and the materials are really mobile friendly and growing that as well. 20% up over the last 3 years. And they have really gone in and scrubbed everything. They've removed every non-essential pixel required, and they're really designed mobile first before the desktop integration. So it's exciting to see the new advances that we get to take advantage of as well. And then as we serve a food tour, of course, we're all doing it either now or certainly when I put something sexy in front of you, you're going to take a picture and maybe someone will stand on a chair as well. I've seen it happen on our food tours to take that beautiful photo before, obviously, the food takes a bite. So when we're looking at technology, we're considering augmented reality. We're looking at ways that we can build content into our guides and have a lot of fun. And then finally, at the end, we're also really looking at new ways to innovate through technology for sharing capacity. We, of course, have lots of people tagging and Instagramming and tweeting on our food tours, but how can we develop that further with extra technology? We're looking at working with digital photo books so that our guides can take photos along the way and then send you your glossy, beautiful food porn pics, along with some smiling faces as well to kind of close that and add some extra value. Now, I know that it's important. Who's ever been on a food tour? Excellent. Well, you're all going to have the opportunity because if you snap a photo of this promo code, TravelTechTO, is up for the next couple of days. And if you book one of our Toronto food tours, it's absolutely free for you. How about that? So you don't have to take the tour by May 1st, you just have to book it. So if you look at all of our regular scheduled food tours during the day, whether that's Ossington or Riverside, Leslieville, St. Lawrence Market, King and Queen West, a number of other spots, take a peek at it, and the promo code should assign to everything except for the big heavy stuff, but take a look, and there's lots of things for you guys to look at. All right, so TravelTechTO, it's pretty easy. That's the promo code, 100% for you. Bring some friends, bring some family. We'd love to see you on a tour.
All right, thanks so much, Kevin. I think that's going to turn out to be our most delicious presentation so far.
Likely.
Awesome. So does anybody have any questions? Yeah.
Question, no? Yeah? Or yell, yeah?
Sure, I can say it loud. I had a question about your marketing efforts and the platforms that you're using. I can see that there are challenges. You need to find a tour guide and also reach out to the people as well. Um, especially when it's related to traveling, your audience is scattered around the world. You don't know which destination they're traveling to, the matching and everything. Could you elaborate on what kind of efforts you're using, which platforms you're using the most, especially on the social media side wise, and how do you test even the marketing content that you're putting up?
Absolutely. So I purchased the company 3 years ago, and Christian's right. We've had some chances to work in the advertising and marketing space a number of years ago. So half my career has been entertainment and experiential marketing, and the last half has been culinary. And so when this company, when I purchased it, I saw the potential. So we are nowhere near where we need to be on our sort of 5-year growth cycle on everything in terms of technology and the whole touch point for our consumers. But to get to the particular point, we're more of a conventional operator. So when you go onto our website, you see a full schedule for all the tours we do in Toronto, Halifax, Ottawa, and so on. So the guests are coming into our market, or our DMO that we've talked about earlier, the destination of tourism Toronto here. They see what they have, they buy a ticket, and they come on our tour. So all of our guides and all of our infrastructure are corporate, and we have brand standards. But in terms of sort of marking them, it's a challenge, because if we end up talking just to the Toronto marketplace and we look at traditional magazines or traditional food elements, it's not working. We need to actually make more of a push on inbound travelers. So we need to have more marketing in China, in Germany, in Brazil, in other spots, so that when people are in that consideration set, food tours are basically anywhere between 6 to 8 weeks of the consideration cycle before they book. I need to be talking to you where you live before you get to Canada. And that's important, and we don't know how to do it, so if someone does, get a business card for sure.
All right. Do we have any more questions?
One question in the back? You know how to do that? All right, cool.
Any other questions? Oh, we got one over here.
I was wondering how you decide which restaurants to pick, or what do you guys consider the best food in Toronto?
Oh, well, that's a loaded question. But what is really interesting, that is the number one question on every single food tour. How do we decide where we go? And it's not very technical, and it's not very digital, but the point is for us is, number one, as a restaurant owner previously, we pay full price for all the food that you guys consume. Many food tour companies and operators around the world will make a marketing deal, or, hey, give me something for free, I'm bringing people to you. I think it's bullshit, because at the end of the day, if you've got a whole bunch of tourists, they're not coming back for that fudge or that cookie or for that dish. We need to respect the chefs, the people that work really hard in that kitchen, the people that are at the front of the house, and so we need to make sure we pay full price. Does that mean we're a little bit more premium? 100%, but you'll get what you pay for. We run food tours, not snack tours, 100%. But the other part of that is that I will look for places that I like, or places that our guides are a real fan of, and our two biggest sort of kind of hallmarks is that at the end of the tour, I want someone to say, Kevin, I would have never gone there without you, or I would have never ordered that item on the menu without you. We really want to push discovery and adventure and take you into a grungy little nasty tiny little hole in the wall, but has the most spectacular food, and most importantly, the most spectacular story about that food. Who they are, who's the chef, what's their background and their culture. That's the most meaningful part of any of the selection we do. Yes.
I just want to throw it out there, because what you said just now I thought was very meaningful. We run I'm going to repeat it very poorly. We run a food tour, not a snack tour.
Correct.
I'm on your website. You don't talk about that. That's amazing. That's amazing, right? Well,
the line basically suggests that you leave filled with food and great memories, so it's in there. There's sort of two parts of it. I almost leave that as a surprise and delight. If you read our TripAdvisor review, oh my God, I roll away from this food tour. I eat and drink professionally, right? Look at me. I'm doing a really good job, right? But the point is that some of it is expectations, and some of it is, okay, you're expecting a food tour. You may have been on other food tours in the world, but until you go on a Culinary Adventure Co. food tour, your life is going to change. And I'm okay with that bit of a surprise. We want to sort of make sure that there's a value proposition and you understand. But that's why we work hard with TripAdvisor. It's why we work hard with our reviews. It's why we need more digital ways to explain the magic that we're delivering, for sure.
All right. Thanks a lot, Kevin. That's awesome. So I'm walking away with a